Let me put my phone on mute. Okay. Welcome back. We're up to Chagigah, page 16a at the bottom, or more or less in the middle of the page. And we're hopefully going to get down to the Mishnah, which is not that much. And we'll keep it short this time. So the Gemara starts, Durish Reb Hide bar Nachmoni. Reb Hide, the son of Nachmoni, he was the Matirgemener, the Resh Lakish. He was the tone matcher for Resh Lakish. The way it was, the Resh Lakish would give his speech, but he was either elderly or didn't know the language that everyone is talking, so he would talk quietly and in Hebrew, and then the Matirgemen would translate and say it out loud to the whole crowd to hear. And this is something we're saying of the tone matcher of Resh Lakish. So I don't know, the Gemara is not mentioning it if he's saying it in the name of Resh Lakish, because he's not. He's just repeating something that we heard from him. So I guess he was worthy enough to have his own sayings. So he said like this, anyone who stares, not just looks, anyone who stares in these three things, his eyes get weakened. His eyes pay a toll for it. What are these three things? The first one is Bekeshes, which is a rainbow. The second one is Banusi. If you look at the chief, if you stare at the chief rabbi, then it's not good for the eyes. Bakahanim, and the Kahanim, just lack of a better term of translating it, I would say Bakahanim means in the priests. They were serving in the temple, serving the Beis Hamikdash, staring at them. What else is also not good? Now the Gemara is going to explain. The cases, if you stare at a rainbow, the chsib, because it says in Pusik, and of course we have learned this many times of Yecheskel, of his vision, what he saw around Hashem. So it goes like this: Kemara Yakeshes, as the view of a rainbow, which is in the clouds on a rainy day, he marai the miskvod Hashem. That is the view, like as if that view, that colors, that view is what you see in the honor of Hashem. So therefore, looking at the rainbow, staring at the rainbow, is, as we have learned last week, it's a dishonor to Hashem, because that's the colors representing Him, and it weakens the eyes. The light of it weakens the eyes. It's not good for the eyes to stare at them. The second thing is Banusi in the chief, and he explains why. The chsib, because it says in the Pusik, V'nusatu ma'hoitru ulav, that Hashem has given from His glory onto the chief rabbi. So if you stare at the chief rabbi, it is as if you're staring at the glory of Hashem, and that's not good for the eyes. Now, of course, we know looking at a tzaddik is good for the eyes. It's bringing in holiness into you, seeing how he lives, how he reacts, how he does things. But this is not called just looking at him. This is called staring at him. And the third one, Hamastakal Bakahanim, if you stare at the Kohanim, at the priests. So the Gemara says it's not all the time. If you find a Kohen on the street, you shouldn't look at him. No, it means in the Kohanim, Bizman Shabbos Midrash Kaya, at the time when the temple was still standing, and the Kohanim were there, Shoyamdam al Dichunan, when the Kohanim were standing on that step, and they would bless the nation of the Yidden, and they would pronounce Hashem's name when they do that. That time Hashem puts His glory, He dwells over their hands, and that's how they bless the nation of the Yidden through the Kohanim. At that time, you should not be looking at them. Now we know nowadays we also try not to look at the Kohanim at the time when they bless us for two reasons. One is because it's a resemblance of the time of the Beis Hamikdash, even though it does not really mean nowadays not to look at the Kohanim, but it's just a resemblance to that. Another reason is because at the time when the Kohanim bless us, we are to be very concentrated and not let our minds wander away in other thoughts. So therefore, many people would cover themselves with their prayer shawl, with their talis, to keep their eyes, because their eyes can very fast drive the mind away by seeing things. By covering the eyes, it's a way of meditating, like closing your eyes and keeping your mind present, focused on the blessings that we're receiving. So the reason the Gemara brings this in here is because it's a continuation of what we have learned last week about not staring at the keshes, at the rainbow. We have learned that last week, that it's not an honor of Hashem, so the Gemara brings in another story about it. And since we already learned one story about Rabbi Yehuda, we're going to have another story of Rabbi Yehuda ben Nachmana. Again, the tone matcher for Resh Lakish. So you were good till here? Can I move on? We're good. Okay. So Diligence Rabbi Yehuda ben Nachmani v'tergemonu de Resh Lakish. So another thing we have learned in the name of Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Nachmani, the tone matcher of Resh Lakish. What is the meaning of what it says in the Pusik, on the phrase, Al tamini beraya, al tiftichi ba'alef? So let me first translate this phrase, and then we'll see how the Gemara brings in the meaning to it. Al tamini means you should not believe, do not trust. Beraya means in bad. Simply put, don't trust when bad things happen. The bad things are not meant to be happening. It's out of the norm. Good things are meant to happen. But let's continue with this pusik. Al tiftichi ba'alev, and you should not trust ba'alev. Ba'alev means in the leader. Aleph means like alifai. I can say that's one explanation. Aleph can mean a leader. Aleph also means Hashem, because Aleph is the letter one, Echad, and that's Hashem, represents Hashem. So let's see what this does mean. You should not be trusting in bad. You should not be trusting in Aleph. What's Aleph? So the Gemara says like this: if the evil inclination comes to you and tells you chatoit, sin, you're okay. You can sin. Hashem is going to forgive. Al-Taman, don't trust him. Don't believe him when he comes to tell you sin. It's okay. Hashem is going to forgive. He understands you. Don't. Sheneme, because it says in Pusik, Al-Tamini beraya. Don't trust in bad. And what does raya mean? So the Gemara explains, Ra'ain ra, bad is nothing as bad. Elu yatsa hora. The bad inclination that we have, that's really bad. Sheneme ki yatsa live v'udam ra, because the inclination of the heart of a person is bad. So therefore, we see from here, you should, the first part of the Pusik, the first part of the phrase, don't trust the Yetzer Hara when he tells you that it's okay to sin, Hashem is going to forgive. No. The second thing, the second part, the Aleph, what does that mean? Va'ain Aleph, Aleph means Eila Kodesh Baruch, it means Hashem. And they bring another phrase. I said Aleph means because it's the first, it means Echad, it means one. But the Gemara says no, Shneimel, because it says Aleph Ne'irai Oto. You are the young Aleph. So it means of Hashem, that we're talking here about Hashem. So we see Aleph is one of the names that you can refer to Hashem. So the Gemara is now switching over gears. So we have learned you shouldn't sin. And you shouldn't sin even when the Yetzer Hara comes and tells you that Hashem will forgive. So the Gemara asks, but we have learned someone doing a sin while he is hidden. We have learned it last week that some people would rather hide when they sin. So Hashem would turn me might be. So the person would say, who's going to witness? You say Hashem is not going to forgive me. Number one, who's going to tell on me? And then who's going to witness? Hashem, if he's going to bring me to a court, he's going to need a witness. So the Gemara is going to bring here to the end of the Mishnah many different opinions as to who is going to tell on you as you have sinned. So the first opinion is Avnai Baisoy, the Koiras Baisoy. The stones of your house and the beams that you have built in, the wooden beams, that it's in your house, shall udam, from this person's house, hen ma'idin boy. They will tell on you. They will say witness on you what you have done in there. Meaning, you think nobody sees, your walls are seeing. Nowadays, we know there's cameras everywhere, on the walls and on the roofs. So one day, if you get too used to doing something, you get caught on camera doing it. So be careful. But the Gemara is not talking that. The Gemara is saying the actual wood, the actual stone will say witness on you. Shenema, because it says in Pusik, Ke'even Miki Tizak, the stone will recognize and will call out. V'chufes ma'aitz yaneni, and the wood will answer. What does it mean, answer? If it's being asked, if you ask the wood anything, information about a person, it will answer because it knows, it was witness, it saw. So that's the first opinion. Second opinion, the Chachamim, the sages say, doesn't say exactly who, says Shnishmusa shel udam ma'idu boy. It's the soul of the person that is going to say witness on him. They will tell on him. And it says, Shenema, because it says in Pusik, Mushecheves chaykechu shemoed pischaypichu. Mushecheves chaykechu means something that you keep hidden inside you. Shemoed will guard pischaypichu, the opening of your mouth. So the Gemara says, Isaiah duva sheshuri, what's that thing that you guard within you? Chaykechu means under your arm, something you keep protected. Shel udam, what's that thing? This means your soul. Your soul, you keep protected in your body. You don't want it to leave the body. That means you died. So the body keeps on trying to keep the soul in it so that it's alive. And this that you compare, this that you protect inside, will open its mouth and will tell on you. That's what the sages say. Rabbi Zrika says a different. He says, every person has two angels that protect. They go along with the person wherever he goes. And these two angels will be telling on you. They will be saying witness as to what you have done. Because it says in the Pusik, which means I have told my angels that they should guard you in all your ways. They should always come and guard you. Now here I want to point out that there's another Gemara elsewhere where it says that those angels only come to the righteous people, and to someone who sinned, they lose their angels, their guarding angels. But from this Gemara we clearly see that, at least according to Reb Zrika, that those angels will not go away even for someone who's wicked, even someone who is bad, because they are there to protect them no matter what. The Gemara, I think in another place, even says that it's proper for a person, if it's proper for a person to ask from his angels to stay out when he needs to go to the bathroom. Because if they're always with him, is it proper for a person to say, don't follow me in here? But according to the commentators here, it's no. They're always there, and there's no point of telling them, don't follow me here, or don't follow me there. They're always with you. There's no way to not have them with you. And the funny thing is here that their job is to protect you. And here the Gemara is saying they're not here only to protect you. They're also here to tell on you. Maybe that's a sort of protection. I don't know. But they're here to tell on you, and they're going to be saying witness. And now we say again, the sages say, but I've seen other commentators taking it out, that it does not mean Chachamim, because we already learned Chachamim right up here. So is it different sages? Then why don't you say the name? So the Gemara should say, some say, that you know what's going to say witness? Aivurav shel udam ma'idin boy. The body parts of the person will say witness on him. Meaning, they don't need anything else. The body parts of the person himself will say witness. And now comes a punchline. Shenemer, because it says in the Pusik, V'atem aidai ne'im Hashem, you will be the witness for Hashem. And then it finishes off, V'ani kail, and I am Hashem. What exactly is it saying here? It's saying that your actual body will be the witness to Hashem. And then it finishes off saying, and I am Hashem. So I want to say a couple of things here as we're finishing off this topic, and we're going back to the Mishnah. And with this Mishnah, we're going to be starting, hopefully, the coming year, coming time we learn, we're going to start going back to laws about Yom Tov, what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do. But here we're wrapping up another important step of what we have learned everything till here. We have learned the creation of the world. We have learned personal growth. We have learned how Hashem has created everything. He even created the Yetzer Hara. He even created the evil inclination. So it's very easy for a person to get to a point to say, Hashem is going to forgive me. He created all this. He put me in this place. If I recall correctly, I even used a very harsh term going back when we spoke about Adam Harishon. Hashem created him and put him into the Eden next to the tree. And Adam figured out that Hashem certainly wants me to sin. I used the term, Hashem did all of it. Then he certainly wants me to sin. He certainly wants me to do this. How can he tell me not to? And that's a very dangerous thing to say. Even more so, after we have learned all this that Hashem has shared with us through Yechezkel and through the other prophets, we got very close to Hashem. And a person getting close to Hashem, he loses the awe, the fear of Hashem. Okay, the Hasidic masters, the Baal Shem Tov's disciples, the students teach us that there are 3 levels of serving Hashem. The first level is fear. Be afraid of Hashem. And of course, the first level of fear is a simple fear of sin. You shouldn't sin because he is stronger than me and he can punish me. He's going to get even with me. Don't get him upset. Okay? So that's the first level of serving Hashem. Second level of serving Hashem is through love. Once you get close enough and you get used to doing these things and you find the beauty in it, the connection in it, the real purpose in life, you fall in love with it. And with something, when you love something, you can't be afraid of it. You lose the fear, you suddenly start loving it. And this is a dangerous part, because when you love something so much, you can very easily say, okay, he'll forgive me, he'll understand. He loves me, I love him. Many Yidden would say, I'm a Yid in my heart. Okay, Hashem loves me, I love him, we're good, we understand each other, he gives me a free pass. That's dangerous. So the third level of serving Hashem is having both. Having fear and having the love. But how can you have both? If you love, you can't fear. If you fear, you can't love. So the answer is that the second level of fear is not a fear of Hashem. It's a fear of yourself botching up and losing this love. Meaning you love so much that you don't want to sin, because if you sin, you numb yourself and now you lose the love. And this is the third level, where you have love and fear together. Where the fear is not anymore Hashem, the fear is of yourself, not botching up this so that I can continue having that love. And this is how we have fear, love, and then the third level of fear with love together. And it's important for us to realize that if we grow getting closer to Hashem and we reach levels of understanding, levels of closeness that we can sometimes feel, it's very important to hold on to the previous levels as well and not let go of them. Because very often in our lives, we lose that top level that we had. And we need the fallback place. We need a place where we can at least continue doing without feeling, without being in love with it, without connecting to it. And having all this that we have learned here about Hashem, about the creation, about the real world, about inner work, and living it and growing personality, growing close to Hashem, it's very, very important to say, okay, I understand Kabbalah, I understand closeness, but it should never take me to a place where I can say, okay, I know when to transgress something. Never, never. You have to continue watching every little halacha, every little law to continue to protect and serve Hashem as a soldier, even when you feel you're a kid. You shouldn't be losing that. And this is where the Gemara is wrapping up. Now it makes all sense and it connects everything we have learned till here. And we also learned of so many different opinions as to who is going to say witness on you. And all these different opinions is basically how much, at which level are you of what we have learned till now. If you have only figured out that Hashem is with you all the time, then your walls will say witness, because that's Hashem. Hashem knows everything. But if you realized Hashem is also in me, then your soul is going to say witness. But if you realize your body is also Hashem, it's never nothing about you, all your body and everything you ever have and all your thoughts is also Hashem. If you get to that place, then you ask yourself, so whom is the Gemara referring to when the Gemara says, who is going to say witness on you? Right? Because if everything is Hashem, then who's going to say witness on me? Hashem is going to say witness on Hashem. You get to a place where the me isn't even a place here anymore. Your body's going to say witness, yes. You're so nullified, you're so melt into within Hashem that of course you don't want to lose that. You want to be very careful because somehow you have choice. Even though every choice I make is already predefined, Hashem knows and He don't get it. But He gave me choice right now. And when I choose something, it's Hashem choosing it. I got to be very careful not to lose that Hashem choosing it. I don't want to sin it. I want to botch that up. And this is why the Gemara is wrapping it up like this. And it brings it all together that, yes, we've gained a lot of knowledge. We've gained a lot of closeness. Let's use it. Let's live it. And not, God forbid, use it as in the wrong direction. As, oh, I'm smart enough. I know the data. I know some inside information. Never, God forbid. It's the other way around. You want to protect it. You want to grow with it and continue growing it and dwell it, live it, and enjoy it. So thank you so much for coming along till here. In the coming year, we're coming back now to halachas, to laws, as to learning what's permitted and what's not permitted as in laws. And we're going to have plenty of other shares from the sages of stories. So there'll still be a balance. But the main part, I think we have graduated at this point. So thank you so much. Until next time. Any comments? I would love to see in the feedback or in the comments. Thank you so much again.